Hello and welcome to our representation of assignment 2. We are Team 5 and you can see here our group members. Furthermore, you can see the agenda here, and I would not lose time and jump right into the first point, which is political environment of Pakistan. Political environment. The politics of Pakistan are mainly takes place within the framework of the constitution, and Pakistan in general is a federal parliamentary republic, which provincial governments enjoy a high degree of autonomy and powers within. The major political parties of Pakistan are the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party, which is led by Imran Khan, who is the current prime minister since 2018, the Pakistan People Party, the Awani National Party, and the fourth major party is listed too. The present government is, like I said, led by Imran Khan, who was voted in 2018 with the highest number of votes, which was 16.9 million. And he declared that his goal was to ensure justice for everybody in Pakistan and to fight poverty in all parts of the country. Then we come to the political risk assessment, which means we have 7 columns, which are all listed from 1 to 7 or from A to G, meaning if it's a 1, it's pretty low risk and 7 is high risk. So for instance, if you look at the short-term political risk, it's ranked at 4, which is pretty medium. The medium or long-term political risk, in contrary, is ranked at 6, which means it's pretty high. And the most important stat here is the premium classification of the OECD, where Pakistan ranks at 7, which is the lowest possible ranking and means that it's a pretty risky country in terms of political risk. But we also want to look at the economical risk, and therefore we stated 5 key facts, which are, for instance, the GDP growth, and we listed it for the last 4 years, starting from 2018 to now. So also the same time frame where the new government is in power. And some factors that I want to highlight are that the GDP growth went down from 5.5% to now 1%. Of course, it's also related to COVID. And the inflation, which is currently at 8.8% yearly average. For comparison, the European Union tries to keep inflation always at 2%. So 8.8 is pretty high in this regard.
Hi, my name is Norbadila binti Awang. My match number is 202500. Now I will continue with the legal environment. The first one is legal system. The legal system of Pakistan is based on the English common law system. The structure of legal system of Pakistan is based on the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Pakistan have parliamentary democracy with a federal system of government. Pakistan has bicameral federal legislature known as the Parliament or Majlis-e-Shura, comprising the National Assembly and the Senate, whereas the provincial legislature, known as the provincial assemblies, are unicameral. The National Assembly has direct election on the basis of the first past the post system, while the Senate holds indirect election. Next is court structure. The first one is Superior Court or a higher court. The first high court in Pakistan is Supreme Court of Pakistan. It is the highest type of court. It consists of a Chief Justice and 16 other judges. Its permanent seats are in Islamabad and other branches are in Lahore, Karachi, Peshawar and Jeddah. The second high court is Federal Sharia Court. It consists of 8 Muslim judges appointed by the President of Pakistan. The role of this court is view all the law of Pakistan to confirm that any law cannot be against the Quran and Sunnah. If any law to be found against the Quran and Sunnah, the government specifying the reason for its decision. And the other 5 high court in Pakistan is Lahore High Court, Sindh High Court, Peshawar High Court, Balochistan High Court, Islamabad High Court. And the next is Subordinate Court or Lower Court. The first one is Family Court. It is specially for family matter. It resolves the issue of the family such as adoption and child protection. The second one is District Court. Every province has a district court and has the criminal and civil jurisdiction government by CBC 1908 and CRPC for criminal cases. Next is juvenile court. This law is applicable to all Pakistan. And the last one is special tribunal court. Pakistan have consumer court, environment court, labor court and banking court. Next is tax law. In Pakistan, as in many jurisdictions, a tax can be levied only by or under the authority of Act of Parliament, while taxation of income is governed by the Income Tax Ordinance 2001 as amended from time to time. The Sales Tax Act 1990 deals with the sales tax at federal level. The standard sales tax rates in Pakistan is 17%. The table shows the sales rates in Pakistan. Next is company formation regulation. Pakistan follow Company Regulation 2017. The first one is reservation of name. Any person desirous of forming a company should apply for reservation of name either online or physical form in terms of subsection 4 of section 10 of the Act. The second one is prohibition of certain names. The following words and combination thereof shall not be used in the name of company or in English or any other language depicting the same meaning. For example, federal government, provincial government, name depicting association with foreign government. Next, application for incorporation of company. An applicant shall make an application either online or physical form to the register for incorporation of the company. Next, memorandum of association shall be in conformity with table B, C, D, E and F of the first schedule to the Act and any other rules and regulations notified by the Commission Government as applicable to the kind of the company. And last but not least, appointment of the first director and chief executive officer. The subscriber to the memorandum shall determine the number of director and the names of the first director in terms of provisions of section 157 of the Act. That's all for me and I will pass it to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. My name is Nurfatin Izati Shamuddin and my matrix number is 196499. So I will continue with my part, which is the environmental legislation under the Pakistan Environmental Protection Act 1997, which is in this act is to provide for the protection, conservation, rehabilitation and improvement of the environment for the prevention and control of pollutions, promotion of sustainable development, which means in this act principally makes provision for administrations of matter affecting the environmental marginal and for the environmental impact assessment and the way of handling hazardous matter. This act define that environmental offence and prescribe that penalties for those offence. Next is trademark law, which is the consumer protection law of Pakistan strictly prohibited the fraudulence of another's trademark, firm name and product labeling or packaging, which means you have to register your trademark for your company and claim the date of use as stated under the nation's trademark ordinance 2001. Also in Pakistan, if you want to market our brands, we have to register the trademark under the ordinance. Also require you to prove that you have been using a trademark by showing the evidence such as your trademark is in logos, invoice bill, advertisement including flyers, brochure, website as well as social media campaign. You have to include your trademark. Like our brand is Trends and our trademark is we built the trends, so we put our trademark in our advertisement, all of our advertisement that to claim that that is our trademark. If we are unable to prove the trademark application will result in the competitors can steal your trademark and claims that you have committed fraud. Next, I will continue with the corruption perception index in Pakistan compared with the Malaysia. As an investor that want to invest and market our product in Pakistan, we need to know the corruption index. We can say that increase starting from 2011 to 2018 and from 2018 is decreased until 2020. There is a link, the source that shows in the graph. Compared for the Malaysia, we can see that starting from 2011 the CPI is 41 and it's rapidly increased in 2012, increased again in 2013 and 14, and from 2014 to 2016 the CPI index declined to 49, decline again until 2018 at 47. The next year in 2019 there's rapidly increase from 47 to 53, decreased to 51 in 2020. So from the graph, you can see that there is unstable data and sometimes increase and decrease and all increase again and decrease. While in Pakistan, we can see that there is increase and starting to decrease. That's all for my part, and I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thanks, Patan. My name is Danya Munsif, and I'll be continuing with the cultural environment. I'll start by explaining the contextual culture. Pakistan is a high contextual cultural country, and the communication focuses on underlying context, meaning, and the tone of the message, and not just the words themselves. The next is individualism versus collectivism. With a low score of 14.5 Stats Cultural Index, Pakistan is very collectivist. It focuses on the well-being of the group over the individual. Loyalty is vital and supersedes most of the other social rules and regulations. Next slide, please. Pakistan has a high power distance rating of 55. The difference between the wealthy and poor people is increasing. Let's have a look at uncertainty avoidance. Pakistan scores 70 on this. In Pakistan, people rely on religious laws and special rules. The society is always trying to reduce unusual situations and possible risks to minimum. They get used to changes little by little. Next slide, please. The fundamental issue here is what motivates people wanting to be the best or liking what they do. Pakistan scores 50 on this dimension, as this is an exactly intermediate score. It cannot be said if Pakistan has a preference of masculinity or femininity. Moving forward to long-term orientation, this dimension describes how every society has to maintain some links with its own past while dealing with the challenges of the present and the future. With an intermediate score of 50, the culture of Pakistan cannot be said to indicate preference. Next slide, please. Indulgence and restraint. With a score of 0 on this dimension, Pakistan can be described as a very restrained society. Cynicism and pessimism are common here. Restrained societies place less emphasis on leisure time and exercise greater control over the fulfillment of their desires. Next slide, please. This slide shows the comparison of US with Pakistan. Pakistan has a high power distance, uncertainty avoidance, and long-term orientation, whereas it also has a lower individualism rate, masculinity, and indulgence rate in comparison to US. Moving on to the next slide, Pakistani Bureau of Statistics released religious data of Pakistani census 2017, where the Muslims make up to 96.47%, followed by Hindus at 2.14%, Christians at 1.27%, Ahmadis at 0.09%, Sikhs at 0.01%, and followed by the rest at 0.01%. Next are the major ethnic groups of Pakistan. Punjabis forming nearly half of the national population, followed by Pashtuns and Sindhis at 15 and 14%. And then there are Saraikis at 8.38%, closely followed by Mohajirs at 7.57%, while remaining large groups include Balochis, who make up to 3.6%. Lastly, other groups make up to 6.23%. Next slide, please. According to 2017 census of major languages, Punjabi is the most spoken language with 38.78%, followed by Pashto at 18.24%, Sindhi at 14.57%, Saraiki at 12.19%, Urdu at 7.08%, Baloch at 3.02%, and the rest at 6.12%. Moving on to the major beliefs, Islam is practiced by majority of the Pakistanis and governs their personal lives, political, economical, and legal lives as well. Among certain obligations of Muslims are to pray 5 times a day at dawn, noon, afternoon, sunset, and evening. During the holy month of Ramadan, all Muslims must fast from dawn to dusk. Now let's look at the key traits of Pakistani culture. The first one is religious uniformity. Pakistan came into existence to provide its people with a system based on Islam. Dressing and diet. The salwar kameez is the national dress of Pakistan and is worn by men and women both. The food consumed and social etiquettes conform strictly to Islamic principles and rules, ensuring everything is halal. The third one is male-dominated society. The family is headed by male members in most cases, and he is the sole source of income for the family. The fourth is handicraft. Embroidery, leatherwork, glaze pottery, carpet making, etc. are essential part of the culture. They are known for their high-quality work in the rest of the world. Then there is sports. Games like wrestling, hockey, cricket, football, squash, etc. are popular in every part of the country. These games reflect their cultural identity. Next is education. Pakistan's education system plays a vital role in formation of the cultural unity and solidarity of the nation. And then finally, there are 2 religious festivals, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Moving on, let's have a look at business customs. The first one is meetings. They usually begin with refreshments and small talks to acquaint everyone present there, and they do not expect any decision to be reached on the first day of the meeting of business encounter. Second is negotiation. If the negotiators are changed, negotiations will have to start over again, since relationships are to the person, not the company that they are representing. Then there is management. The workplace is hierarchical in Pakistan, and that's why relationships are typically formal. Pakistani managers have a fairly autocratic manner. Then there is relationship orientation. Nepotism is viewed positively, since it guarantees hiring people who can be trusted. And finally, consideration. Family run businesses are extremely common in Pakistani culture and are generally continued generationally, as nepotism is assumed to guarantee trust. Thank you. That is all from me.
Right, let's get started. My name is Zhang Junwei, and my matric number is 201377. Now we have great pleasure to introduce you our company products. Next page, please. As you can see here is our brand name, TRNDZ, Trends. And our tagline is, we build the trend. The feature of our product is lightweight, soft, and flexible. The cross stapling point makes the stapling performance first class. That's the fit brace, perfect fit with the foot shape. Next page, thank you. And here are Trends classic shoes. Trends Plus series. Plus integrates the great achievement of Trends technology and is integrated with the leading in-mood injection technology. The overall step is stable, light, wear resistant, slip resistant, and not easy to fall off. And here also is the Trends Grip series. The Trends Grip series shoe body is made of ergonomic, and the sole is made of peel, which is comfortable and natural. That's all of me. Thank you. That's all of me, and I will pass my presentation to my next presenter.
So hi, I am Riza, and I'll be continuing talking about the trade barriers in Pakistan, which is the tariff and also the non-tariff barriers. So to begin with, as for the tariff barriers in Pakistan, we can see that the Pakistan tariff rate for 2019 was 8.69%, slightly declined from 2018. The Pakistan used the harmonized system to classify goods. The custom duties are levied in ad valorem basis. The Pakistan overall average applied tariff in 2018 was 10.09%. Other than custom duties, the government charges 70% sales tax on the duty paid value of a variety goods produced in or imported into the country. The custom duty and other charges are payable in Pakistani rupees. Well, I've mentioned about harmonized system code. For our product, the HS code is 64.05. It is a waterproof footwear with rubber or composition leather outsoles and upper textile materials. So to continue, the Pakistan average most favored nation MFN applied tariff rate was 12.2% in 2019. This is the latest data available. The Pakistan average MFN applied tariff rate was 13.5% for agriculture products and 11.9% for non-agriculture products in 2019. Between 2013 and 2017, the Pakistan gradually reduced the number of tariff categories and reduced the maximum tariff category rate. Well, however, the individual tariff rate within each category may vary. The weighted average basis of all applied tariff within the category is equal to the category rate, and some individual tariff rates may still be significantly higher than the category rate listed. Since 2017, the Pakistan has gradually reduced the tariff lines. Okay, so in the fiscal year in 2021 budget, the Pakistan lowered tariff on more than 1,800 product lines. The reduction focused primarily on raw materials and intermediate goods. Well, in addition, the Pakistan imposes a higher tariff rate, which is 35% on imports of automotive parts. Okay, so in March 2016, the Ministry of Industries and Production offered various incentives to aim at attracting US and also European automakers to establish automotive manufacturing units in Pakistan. However, in 2019, the Pakistan eliminated the incentive for new entrants and firms. This is because they would not be able to take advantage of those incentives. As a result, other foreign manufacturers that had expressed interest in Pakistan automotive market backed away with no new foreign manufacturer entering the market since Kia in 2018. So now I'll be talking about the non-tariff barriers. Firstly, the import quotas apply to certain chemicals. As we can see, it applied to the automotive sector, finished pharmaceuticals, and went to import the wheat flour. And next, minimum import values apply onto motorcycle parts. And third, the import prohibition and licensing also are applied in health, safety, security, religious, and environmental reasons. And then there also a certain import is also restricted until they meet the certain specific requirement, like pass certain tests or get approved somehow. Okay. There's also a banned item to import to Pakistan, such as hazardous waste, alcoholic beverages, first skin, and much more. Next, they also require a pre-shipment inspection for used machinery and equipment, second-hand products. And they also have items that have been subject to anti-dumping and countervailing duties actions include sanitize, PVC, acetic acid, and etc. They are covering mainly sampling, testing procedure, as well as packaging, labeling, marking with the pharmaceuticals, cigarettes, specified food colors, and much more. There's also a government procurement, which is price preference up to 25% on all government purchases, depending upon domestic value added content. They also have a valuation system on 90 to 95% of goods, special valuation procedures for some food and consumer goods. So now, I'll be talking about the term of non-tariff measures, covers a diverse set of the measures in terms of purpose, legal form, and economic effect. This measure can be divided into two groups, which is technical measures and also non-technical measures. Technical measures will be the standards or regulation, as non-technical will be the quantitative restriction, price measures, and much more. So that's it from my part. I'll be passed to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dongwan Yi, my matric number is 201378. So today I'm going to talk about the target marketing. So next slide please. First, I'll talk about the geography of the Pakistan. Pakistan occupies an area of 881,913 square kilometers. In comparison, this makes it larger than Turkey, but smaller than Egypt. It shares a 1,046 kilometer coastline along the Arabian Sea and the Gulf of Oman to the south. The Indus River is Pakistan's largest river, where most major cities are located. Although Pakistan is mostly hot and dry in the south, it transitions to a more temperate climate in the northwest. Pakistan is most plateau, so the comfort of shoes is particularly important. Therefore, the lightness, stability, and fit of our products is particularly important. So next slide, please. Next, I'm going to talk about the demographic. Pakistan is the fifth most populous country in the world. Between 1950 and 2012, the urban population of Pakistan increased more than 7 times, while the total population increased more than 4 times. Next slide, please. So here shows the population age. You can see it's a very huge population base. So for such a huge population base, we hope everyone can drive with shoes. Therefore, the pricing and appearance are also very in line with the needs of locals. Next, the data above shows that in 2019 to 2020, the median Pakistan household spent like ringgit 2,795 per month on shoes and clothes, while the high-income people spent almost like 90 ringgit on clothes and shoes. Next slide, please. Let's move on to this data. So here we can see the popular things for Pakistan people is first clothing, second is food, third is footwear, fourth is the traveling, and the fifth is the economics. According to this analysis, we can see the most popular product for Pakistan is clothing, and the third one is shoes. Then let's move on to the cost effectiveness. For Pakistan consumer will be proud of knowing how to choose when they buy things, and they are also willing to calculation sensitive to money. Next slide, please. That's all from our presentation. Thanks you for listening.